Is this the hill? That's it. Oh, good. No more uphill all day.
That's great.
Dover Union Iron Mill.
Iron Mill. They built a pretty high. Wow. Yeah, 36-foot water wheel here. Rapid running of the water here, and said, "I'm going to put a sawmill in." And he provided lumber for the town of Dedham. And then Amelia Peabody from the Peabody family bought all this property and the property across the way. She owned Progressive, what's now Progressive Farm.
And the upper pond.
My son's in-laws have a place in Lemoyne, which is fine.
Because you got to go take a test.
The question is, will I get a good enough picture at some point to be able to include it in the video when I zoom in?
Really going step by step, like he's sticking his head out a little more, then he's sitting at the edge of a net, then he moved up the branch and sat there for a while, then he so low.
The rock we saw before? A second rock? There's two rocks here at Carroll Park / known at Woodlands.
That one's even bigger.
Who knew? Duane just pointed out this pine tree. So yeah, look for the king's stamp with the king's mask stamp on that. That's one of the ones in the old days they would have said that one's for the king, for his mast, for his tree, for his boats. And here we have a little brook crossing.
Look at that.
Yeah.
It's probably poison ivy.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it is probably because it's got that fuzzy stuff on it.
Yeah.
And I think that fuzzy stuff is the poison ivy.
Look at on the outside of it too.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely a trail because somebody arranged the rocks. But let there be ferns. I don't see any interrupted ferns.
That's a shag, isn't it?
Shagbark hickory.
Shagbark hickory. You don't see many.
The theme for the bay is big trees.
Yes.
One lost pine tree. Yeah. Big tree. Yeah. Oh, it's a little deeper, maybe.
There's got to be rock from PW Park. I've caught largemouth bass.
Yeah.
You know, just with a rubber worm.
which is fun. You know, you use an artificial worm, you catch a live fish.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah. Hardy fish.
Come on, that's the edge. You can see there's a couple houses on the other side. That's the end of the reservation.
It was cheap money when I got it.
There's a bigger one we might or might not see later. Depends on which route we take out of here.
That rock's been here for forever.
Since the glacier receded,
Feel the breeze.
ready to go?
Leader.
Leader, oh, you're the leader. You've
I
been
gotta
leading
go?
us all the way.
You're doing a great job.
You're it. You're it.
Yeah, like I have no clue where
Much
I'm going.
appreciated.
That's all right. Yeah, I say.
That. Oh, I forgot about that.
Beers? What that was beers?
So this is Split Rock on the Split Rock Trail at Borderland, and this is Patty.
Is this what they call it? Split rock?
Split rock.
Particular?
Yep, sun's out a little bit now. Good to be in the shade.
By the time we're back at the cars, it'll be 15 degrees warmer than when we started.
The Braintree Triangle. We'll see what it's like today. It's been so dry, I think I can probably walk the trail along the backside, along 128. But I know how to find out. I'm down at the stream crossing, and whether I can cross the stream or not, I really can't tell. I can't get close enough to even see it. It might be passable if I can get the vines out of the way. It doesn't look like there's any water really flowing through here. There is a little bit of water here. I think I was here one year when it was completely dry and we just walked right across. Today there's a little water, but whew. The biggest problem is the fact that nobody brushed it in the last 10 years. So it's a little overgrown. Now at the other end of the clearing, you can kind of see, I'm not the only one coming through here. Others have been through, but it's not much of a trail. Wouldn't be too bad if some of the things didn't have briars when you got shorts on. The good news is I have not seen any poison ivy. I can't say I recommend this trail to anyone, but as a trail worker looking to see the condition and whether it's restorable, I can make it through. But it's a bit more work than it's worthwhile. Oop! And this is the trouble. You're going along and you hit greenbrier right across the trail. Plenty of poison ivy along here. This part still isn't on the map, but this part's well used and should be on the map in my opinion. Would be on the map if I made the map. Second loop is a nice trail. It's noisy because you're next to 128, but the same thing on the other side when you're near the Great Cedar Swamp. It kind of gives you that thank God I'm here, not there feeling. And here's where it comes out to the first loop and out to 128. And if you look closely on the other side of the street, you can see the end of the other trail that used to connect. Now we're on the first loop. The trail itself, rocky, but much like the second loop, it's a nice little trail. Noisy because of 128, and that's the brakes, especially in rush hour. Don't hike next to 128 if you want peace and quiet. So if you want to be thankful you're retired and don't have to do that every day, you get home from work, this is the place to be. Somebody came through here last year with a chainsaw and cut all of these trees. I guess they're probably the ones that cut the other stuff further back. And here's the end of the line where the trail loops around, comes down along 128 there, turns around right here, and heads back towards old 128. The end of the first loop, as far west as we go. And here we come out of the woods at the end of the pavement. My car's right down there at the other end of that pavement. But I got a couple little side trails to do before I go back. I think I'm just going to do 2 out and backs. This one's real short. The other one's not long. Now we're back up. 5610. I came from there, did that, and then went off that way. So we're just doing this little cross piece as an out and back. Here's the other crossover, the one that's not on the map. Looks like a fine outstanding trail to me. Looks like a nice trail actually. It's in better condition than many of the trails on the map. And this is where I came from earlier, and I went off that way. So I'm all done with the loops. All I gotta do is go back out and hike down the old 128. And we come back to the car. Here's our fearless leaders leading us down the trail. Taking a water break in the shade.
High school, that's our high school.
On a Saturday morning, there's not many people here. One runner just went past us. But other than that, we've seen very few people out here. I didn't see anyone playing disc golf at all. A little signboard with numbers so you can find your way around. Petty field, right now set up as 2 baseball fields.
She was in front and she was like,
And we're taking another water break.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
No. It's
Anybody needs a
children's
bio
all-star
break?
game. And then we're right on it. I'm not sure off what happened.
We're out on the white trail, and they have maps, and they have signs, so you can find your way around. How you doing? Yeah, we didn't see any bears, but we saw some other wild animals out in the North Attleboro. I guess this is the zoo parking area.
Well, it's just the breeze is nice and cool.
It's been a windy spring and summer.
I didn't know there was a 4,000-foot mountain on this hike. Whew,
Got a little bit of everything in there.
25 feet. 25 feet to what?
To the basket. Over there. To this one. You know
I'm
what,
all
right?
right. I'm just teasing.
People are funny.
That's nice.
Everywhere you go, stone walls in the woods. Just a reminder that it might be a park these days, but once upon a time this was a little bit steep to be farmland, so it's probably grazing land. People might have had sheep and cows and stuff out here grazing back in the day.
In the field is mine. Psalms.
Wow.
A big old tree.
I smell like something fragrant. Are those like kind of, they smell like lilies, but they're